Mark Davis goes without saying that's a disappointing defeat.
Very much so. To lose in 7 sessions is just not good enough. We accept that. That said, we've played a very young team here today over the last 3 days. So we've had a few injuries, as you know, so we've got a few young guys in. And I think I've said all year, and I'll say it again, that we weren't going to get any loan players in. We weren't going to get anybody else in. We wanted to see what our players could do. A difficult surface as well for young batters to come in and play on. So all in all, very disappointing days.
All that being said, Mark, that was particularly disappointing this morning, losing those 8 wickets.
Of course, it wasn't good batting. It was poor. Yes, the ball was going a bit up and down, as we saw. Everybody saw that in the game. But no, poor. We shouldn't lose that amount of wickets that quickly. We know that. We will address it. We obviously have after the game as well. So not good. But as I said, we're playing a very young, inexperienced team. And certainly from a batting unit, we're playing a very young team as well. So hopefully they can learn from it. Pretty hard school there to learn against a very good Kent attack, and hopefully they can put that in the memory bank and get some good learning from it.
Can I ask you, Mark, it's something that I've been asked by people on email as we've been doing our commentary this season, that when some of the, particularly the younger batsmen are out, who's working with the younger batsmen to try and improve their technique and maybe look at how they've been dismissed, certainly this morning?
Well, Murray Goodwin's worked for the first 3.5 months for them, so Muzz has done a good job. It's not always the batting coach that's going to make all the difference. I think you get your ideas, and as players you've got to take ownership and responsibility for your career as well. So I think coaches can give you a little bit, but at the end of the day, the best players in the world, and certainly the best players I've coached and the best players that I've played alongside, have worked it out themselves. So yes, coaches are important, of course they are. Coaches set the environment, coaches will give you a couple of ideas, they'll talk about method, game plan, etc. But at the end of the day, it's about players, and the best players that make it in the game are their own best coaches, if you like. So yes, Murray's obviously given a lot of players a lot of good information. If you look at Harry Finch, has come on really well this year. Muzz did a lot of work with him. Even Finney there in the second innings, he fought his corner. He got a brute of a ball to get him out. But he was looking okay, you know what I mean? He was playing quite nicely. It was really nice to see Tom Haynes come in. I know he didn't get runs, but as a 17-year-old boy to stand up and face the music like he did and actually line the ball up nicely was very, very impressive. So it's the objective of the club. It's my objective is to get young people through, and it's also the objective to play the people in our squad, because if they're not in your squad, there's no point in playing them. So that's why I've stayed away from the loan market and certainly stayed away from getting other people in.
Murray hasn't been here for some time. With hindsight, was it a mistake to have Murray in for such a short period of time, Mark?
I don't think so. They weren't sort of immediate candidates that jumped out and said they were the right people for the job. So no, in hindsight I don't. I think he came in, he couldn't, due to work commitments, commit for as long as we'd like him to commit. Obviously I got the job quite late in the day at Sussex as well, so we didn't have huge amounts of time either. So we will address that. That is something we will address and make sure that if we do get a batting coach in next year, he'll be with us full-time as opposed to part-time.
A lot of supporters getting in touch with us. Sussex fans are hurting at the moment, Mark.
Of course they are. I mean, that's the nature of the game. It's a very emotional game. I'm sure every single club around, when you lose a game, people hurt. You know what I mean? That's life. I've said it before and I'll say it again. We're laying foundations. We are going to get success back to this club by hook or by crook, and I can assure you that. I think you can't have it both ways. You can't say, yes, let's play young people and let's lay the foundations, and then the moment you lose a game, everyone's in outcry. You know what I mean? You've got to take the rough with the smooth. I think it's really important that we look at the positives this year, and we certainly are. You've had a lot of good young bowlers come through. Harry Finch has had a breakthrough season as well. In the games he's played, he's looked very, very accomplished. He's broken his thumb. We've lost Ed Joyce to this game. We've lost a lot of our captain's not playing as well. So it does make it tough. But once again, I think out of tough times and tough sort of games, if you like, that's when character is born, and that's when players are born as well.
3 games to go in the Championship.
Yeah.
What are you expecting from your side? What are you expecting to see in these next 3 games?
We're going to bounce back. There's no doubt we're bouncing back from this defeat. Certainly, we'll go up to Leicester and we'll make sure that we get out there and try and win the game. Joycey comes back into the team, which is nice to have an experienced player back. We'll still have a couple of young guys playing in the team as well. So once again, there'll be opportunity for people again. So as much as it is disappointing to lose, of course it is, and that hurts me and it hurts everybody in that dressing room. And I've already just said that if it doesn't hurt you, you're in the wrong game, and you certainly shouldn't be playing professional sport at this level, because it's about that. If you get beat like that in 7 sessions, it should hurt, and the boys are hurting.
Are there players who might be playing for contracts over the next 3 games, Mark?
They certainly are. I think as it stands now, this is the team I've inherited, and we'll see, and I'll certainly put my stamp on the team that I feel is the right team to take forward. the right characters in that dressing room as well.
The skipper missed out in this match. What's the injury situation with Luke, Mark?
Still undecided on how bad his arm is. He's obviously had scans. He's had an injection as well, so that'll take a couple of days to settle down. They're not sure if it's a tear or if it's just wear and tear, if you like. So that after a couple of days after the injection, hopefully we'll see that settle down and they'll know a bit more about that.
I always like to end on a positive. Let's talk about Steve Magoffin, because I spoke to Ben Brown last night. He was clearly unwell, Steve Magoffin, in this match. What does it say about him, the fact that he's still prepared to race in and take 5 wickets?
It's just fantastic. I mean, if you look at what Steve's done for us at this club for a number of years, it's brilliant. He was massively under par. He wasn't feeling very good at all. But that shows the character, and that shows the type of character that I want in this dressing room. You know, I want people that aren't flaky, people that don't go missing, and people that keep fighting their corners. And Steve was one of those. I mean, he was outstanding to go and get Pfeiffer to lead the attack again. Even half crook, if you like, was outstanding. Full marks to him.
Mark, I can see you hurting. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you. Cheers.